Well, hello and happy July, Palm friends. Central Virginia Palms here. July update. Got a lot of progress done. Forgive me, it's about to thunderstorm here, Southeast Virginia. Doing really, really well. We had a frond on my Adenidia open up and another one happening. Had one break off in last week's thunderstorm. Doing good. They got a little sun bleach this year, but they're growing out of it, and the newer fronds are well adapted. My Bismarckia. This frond just started opening today, and he's got one right behind it, so he's growing pretty fast. I didn't realize how fast growers they are, so when I got him, he had this one was about the size of this third one coming in down here. And I got him about a month and a half ago, and in just that time, this one's opened, this one's shot up, and now he's pushing a third down here. Doing really, really well. I obviously can't plant this one in the ground as it's not cold hardy enough, or am I willing to take the risk with this one? He was a little bit expensive. But we did make some additions to our cold hardy. Again, forgive my yard. It's still a work in progress. We just finished the deck probably last month. Added another Sable Minor palm. This one's a little bit smaller than the bigger one I had, but I picked him up for 20 bucks, so I couldn't say no. I got two of them. These guys, they grow. I mean, it's been 100. It was 105 today here in Virginia. And then I've had these in the ground now, our Trachycarpus and my older Sable Minor, since end of May this year. And in that time, I've noticed with these guys, the sunlight drastically changes how long their shoots come out. So I guess where it was stored, or the greenhouse that had these, they had pretty long petioles on them. But the newer ones are a little bit shorter and wider because these get a lot more sun during the day. But this one now is working on its fourth one since it's been in the ground. That's growing pretty nice. This one has opened up a brand new frond in just a month's time, and then this little baby is opening up, so he's got to push through, and then it's got another one pushing up through here. So I mean, in my opinion, I was told that these were snail growers, slow growers, but I guess as they get a little bit more mature, they kind of speed up and they push, and this one has been doing just that. I planted it in a non-amended hole, just an inch of wiggle room to get the pot in there. Fertilized every other month with the Palm Gain. This is my quadruple Trachycarpus. So at the grower, he told me, this one had its main trunk in there, which is just under a foot tall, but some seedlings had fallen in there, so this will end up being a quadruple. You can see this one's this crabgrass out of the way. A little smaller trunk on it, and then you've got these two pretty baby guys in there. We'll see if the smaller ones make it, but like I said, this guy clearly was stretching for light in the greenhouse, and I picked him up, and his color was pretty off, but I like the size of the trunk and decided to go for it. And now its new growth is, as you can see, drastically shorter. Less than half of what it was. So if you guys want these to have like great big canopies on them, they definitely are going to stretch for more light and have bigger canopies in a partly shady or mostly shady area. This guy here on the corner gets pretty full sun after, I want to say, about 1 o'clock. It peeks over the house here. And then, our yard faces directly west. So it gets pretty hot, intense afternoon sun. Hasn't phased any of the older petioles on it. And here's my other medium-sized sable. I haven't put him in the ground, but I've got the hole going for it. And then I just put this guy. This is a double Trekkie. Put him in yesterday. I've been waiting for the the deck over here to get finished, and we're going to finish this off with some tropical landscape. And then, you know, of course, we've got our non-cold hardy palms. I mean, these guys they can take a little bit of, you know, down to 40 for just a short time, but they'll have some damage if they're left out in our winter here in Virginia. But yeah, there's our July update. Everything's doing really well. We've got some new additions to put in the ground, and we'll be heading into this year our first winter with palm trees in the ground and working on what kind of protection I think we're going to need. So if you're interested in growing palm trees and tropicals and cold hardy tropicals in Virginia, we're zone 7B, 8A. We're on that kind of cusp. Then definitely follow along as you learn and I learn. And of course, we've got our Mexican fan palms. These I am going to experiment with outside. I've decided that I'm going to, you know, pot them up and give them one more year of going in the garage. But I mean, the growth rate on these is just baffling to me. When I first got them, I got them from a supplier in North Carolina. You know, they sent them, you know, no dirt or nothing, just bare root. And for a while there, they were pushing just a little bit, you know, every week or so. I noticed just slight movement on them. And once they rooted and took over the pot, I mean, they have just, I mean, frond after frond after frond. A frond is opening. I mean, this was my first one. I got him Christmas of this year. He had two fronds on him. 2 petioles were open. They're already long gone. He's done pushed past those. I've had to cut them off. You see, this was his 3rd or 4th one, and it's already going. And he's, you know, they in pots, especially I think when they're younger, they do get a little growth stunt. They don't reach their full potential while they're potted. It's best to keep these guys in the ground if you really want to be astonished. But still, even in the pot, once they establish this pot, they have just been tossing left and right. And they love the heat. The hotter it is outside, the more they just push. But like I was saying, you know, we'll increase the pot size so they, you know, don't slow down. But in the ground, they hold on to more of their their fronds. But in pots, you know, sometimes it's hard for them to keep a hold as many. But the bigger they get, the more established they get. But they do get to a certain size where their growth rate is going to slow down because their roots don't have enough room in a pot to really just, you know, get their trunks nice and girthy. But this one here, like I said, I've had it since Christmas. This was the baby spear on that, and you can see how much growth it's done. And you know, just at 6 months, its trunk was just very, very small, smaller than this one was. This one's kind of the runt of my little litter because I got these 2 after I was so happy with this one. I picked these guys up. They arrived on Valentine's Day. So my husband got them for Valentine's Day for me since I love them so much. So they weren't too expensive. They were about $40. I got these set for $50. It was like a buy one, get one kind of for $10. So I'll get these in the ground maybe really early spring next year. I want to see how they do first. But yeah, that's our garden tour. My queen palm over there in the background. And then our next video we'll dig into more specific things. As I plant and learn more, I'll share my knowledge with you. So happy palm.